So you click on this video because you want to bring money with email marketing. You're probably an e-com store owner, and realistically, email marketing is pretty much your second website. It's the entire backend system of your store, okay? And I also want you to understand that this is just one aspect of the puzzle. I'm going to give you another one. We need to send the right email for the right person at the right time, right? And in this case, I am going to specifically talk about design, which it's the first thing people see, and it's what makes or break an email. So let's get to it. And the first thing I want to mention here is a word, call it simplicity. We need to always create an email with this word in mind. Is this a simple email? Is this easy to understand? Is this organized? Does this have the right layout? Now, I'm going to give you some examples here, and Magic Mind is the perfect example of that, of when it comes to organization, when it comes to the right layout. And you can see that they do this on pretty much every single email. You got a button at the beginning, a button at the end, not a lot of copy, and they have these very similar and simple layout that they do in pretty much every single email, or most of the emails, okay? So that's the first thing. Now, I want to also talk about what this email or the original email of Whoop is doing wrong here. So the first thing is that they do not have a call to action, a button or a shop now button right on the beginning. Not a shop now button, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it depends. You need to frame the copy the right way for the right email, obviously. But most people use shop now, so I just use that as an example, right? But there's no button on the beginning or above the fold. You probably have heard that already too. And you need to have that. You also need to have or create or give the right context for the viewer on what the email is about, okay? And the other really, really bad thing that you should never do is they got text and buttons button in this case, all over the place. So you can see that this email has a text on the right, left, and a button on the left. Look at mine. Everything is centered. Everything is in the center. This is a secret that you need to be using, and even big brands even big agencies don't do this, and they are losing money. It's especially something like this for big brands. You lose a lot of click rates just by not having everything centered, okay? Trust me when I say this. This is the, how do I say? The nature on an email of simplicity. If things are not centered, it's not simple, okay? Now, the second thing I want to mention here, it's something that I do a lot for my clients, and it works very well. And this is basically my way of getting attention, or of getting attention of the eye, and it's to create color contrast, right? So we can see, the first thing we see on this email is this color. It's what pops. And this is a very good way of getting attention without sacrificing simplicity. Because what most people do is they create all these crack type design email, and they end up making the email complex, and it just destroys click rates and conversion rate, generally speaking. Because again, simplicity is the key, and we need to create emails that even a 5-year-old can understand. Let's pretend that 5-year-old knows how to read, okay? It needs to understand what this is about. It needs to understand where to click. And another quick thing that I don't have here, and it has to do with the footer. So the footer is basically this part right here. This is a perfect example of a good footer. You need to have this as simple as possible. And I see brands having a button here, a button here, or what I see a lot of people doing, they put the logo here and buttons here. Don't do that, okay? Keep things centered, keep things simple, and this is the perfect example of a footer, okay? And the last thing I want to talk about here is the amount of text or the amount of copy that you need to have. And, some people say that you need to have very little copy. I agree with that. But what people really mean by that is you need to have a digestible email, okay? For example, I personally think that this email has, quite a bit of text, but I frame it in a way that it's easy to go through, okay? For example, if you had all of these text together, like if it was all together, it would look like it was, a lot to read, right? But I kind of frame it in a way that looks easier to the eye, right? A good example, again, Magic Mind. I show a lot of Magic Mind because, I've seen pretty much all the good brands under the sun, and I feel like Magic Mind, when it comes to the design and the layout, like this is the best there is, okay? This is the simplest you can get while being like really good on pretty much every single aspect, right? Now, I don't recommend you to completely copy paste this, but this is like a really, really good example. And you can even see a little bit of text here, a little bit of text here, a little bit of text here, right? Like there's nothing crazy going on here, right? They just make the most digestible emails I've ever seen, okay? And it's crazy, crazy simple, which I absolutely love. They also have like very specific design secrets that I also use for my clients. This is a bit more like deep stuff. Design-wise, again, simple design. You should always go for a simple design, not a complex one, okay? So, yeah, that's basically that. This was the fastest mastermind on email design or email organization that I lost myself now, but anyways, you get what I mean. And the last thing I want to mention here is the energy or most of the energy people use. So I would say that they go like 30% for the copy and the rest for the design. You should do the opposite. You should use your energy the opposite. 30% for the design and 70% for the copy, okay? Copy is the most important thing. The design is what makes or break because, people need to like what they see, and after the design, it comes the engagement. And the copy needs to be humorous, it needs to have humor, and it needs to be engaging. Because what most people do is they just write about their product. They don't talk to the customer, right? So this is like extremely important. I won't talk about copy because, in this video, because it's a very specific theme, specific topic. But yeah, I just want to put that out there. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this entire thing. Appreciate it. And if you're an e-com store owner looking for someone helping you with email marketing, this is the best place because there's a lot of agencies and people out there that it's basically just fireworks. Let's put it that way. And here you get the raw stuff. You get the raw price. You get the raw insight. You get the raw knowledge, what actually works, especially when it comes to price. I feel like a lot of agencies overprice in a big way just because they are well known. And it's all fireworks. I think email marketing, it shouldn't be like 5K a month, that's unrealistic in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically that. Thank you very much for watching this entire thing, and wish you an amazing rest of the day. Thank you for watching.